In this special edition episode of Pop Culture Weekly, I talk with Jude Law and Ron Howard all about their brand new film, Eden. Let's go!
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Nerd. Nerd. Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and I thank you, as always, for hanging out with me for another episode on the show where I get to hang out with some of the biggest names in entertainment and somehow convince them to keep talking to me. Today is a big one. That's why it is a special episode. We are diving into one of the most talked about films of the year, Eden. Now, if you haven't heard about Eden yet, first of all, where have you even been? Second, this film is an absolute powerhouse. It's directed by the legendary Ron Howard and starring the equally, that would be helpful if I used the words right, equally legendary Jude Law. Eden, it's like a gripping survival thriller that really asks what happens when humanity is pushed to its very limits. The story follows a group of people that are stranded on this remote island after this catastrophic event. And as their resources dwindle and tensions start rising, then questions of morality, leadership, and survival start to kind of take center stage there. It's kind of like a movie version of Survivor, if you will. It's really intense, it's really emotional, and it'll stick with you long after the credits roll. Eden is a really great film. And lucky for us, I got to sit down with the masterminds themselves, director Ron Howard, who has shaped some of the greatest films of our time. The Da Vinci Code, Apollo 13, Hillbilly Elegy, Willow, Solo, A Star Wars Story, Cocoon, Splash in the Heart of the Sea, like just so many. It's crazy. And of course, Jude Law, who that I'm on a mission. First of all, I mean, Jude Law is amazing, but I'm on a mission to talk with every major Wizarding World, Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts star. And of course, Jude is Albus Dumbledore himself, FYI. And, he's been in other things, Sherlock Holmes and The Young Pope, Captain Marvel, King Arthur, among many, many other incredible movies. And Jude delivers a performance in Eden that is nothing short of electrifying. So we're going to talk about bringing the story to life, the challenges of shooting a film like this that has so much intensity, and why Eden might just be, in my opinion, one of the most important films of the year. So here they are, Ron Howard and Jude Law. Eden is such a great film, and I wonder for both of you, it kind of deals with not just survival challenges, but human challenges too. I wonder, how did the both of you kind of find that balance in balancing those two kind of big things?
Well, that's what attracted me to the story when I first realized that, this had really happened. It's a true crime thriller that really unfolded. And part of the fascination is when you recognize how different the people were. And it's this collision of personalities and hopes and dreams. And I found it, it's so incredibly relatable. And so the reason it's a thriller is because the outcome turned out to be very, very intense and even violent. But I felt like there's the real humanity to the story because I feel like audience members can relate to someone in this story that they're going to find that they connect with.
Yeah, when you get involved,
how about for you, Jude?
Well, when you get involved as an actor in a project like this, you look at the whole. And what's exciting, what's enticing is, you're a part of an ensemble. Everyone knows that they're representing, if you like, a different camp, a different side, a different perspective on how to survive this scenario. And so you're able really to play the truth and commit to the truth of your particular perspective, knowing that the piece as a whole is offering the three-dimensional story to you as an audience member. It's not like saying this is the way. It's saying, look how these individuals all chose to deal with this extraordinary situation. And what's, in many ways you could say is a sort of slice through society. Some people deal with it with their head, with their heart, with passion. And I love that it was a very, it had incredible focus as a sort of thriller, but somehow managed to embrace society as a whole.
I love that. And how do you think you personally, Jude, would, what would you bring to that situation?
What if it was me if you mean me living?
Yeah.
All of us voted Jude as the one guy who could probably do this. That's the talk around the lunch table.
That's interesting. I mean, I like physical challenge. I think what's interesting about the character Ritter is that he exposes how, Ritter was so fascinating as a man. He was clearly incredibly motivated, very intelligent, and absolutely driven to express himself and his ideals. And somehow he connected a way to express that with clarity and honesty through a physical ardor, through a physical test. And now I know that I'm pretty good physically and I can test myself physically. I think it's always going to be what happens in your head in the end. Can your head handle it? Because that's where all the voices start, right? That's where you start to say, oh, that's where you start to question yourself and all those around you.
It's one of the things I really like about the film too, and I didn't understand this fully, but as I started working with the actors, it became more clear during rehearsal. The three very different women there for very different reasons. Two of them mostly just following a man, and trying to be sick, who have to completely shift what they believe about themselves, what they believe is possible, what they even understand about their mate, and kind of become alpha in a way. So there's this transformation among the women that I also found really interesting. It seems to speak to audiences in a way that that pleases me.
It is a wonderful film. I can't wait for everybody to see Eden. Thank you both. Thank you, Jude and Ron. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Cole. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day. Ron Howard and Jude Law. Love, 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 love them. And that's going to do it for this special episode of Pop Culture Weekly. Huge thanks to Jude Law and Ron Howard for joining me and sharing their insights on Eden. Trust me, this is a movie you're going to want to experience, particularly on the big screen if you can. If you liked this episode, make sure you're subscribed to Pop Culture Weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to leave a review because it really does help more pop culture fans find us. I'm Kyle McMahon, proving once again that sarcasm is a survival skill. I love ya. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up.